Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Namaste, my dear friends. We have seen in brief an overview of what Patanjali Yoga Sutra is and how it is arranged in the form of the four padas or the four quarters. The Samadhi pada being the first with 51 sutras, and Sadhana pada showing the path of the Kriya Yoga and the Ashtanga Yoga with 55 sutras. Vibhuti pada, which is giving us the milestones, the different siddhis and divine yogic powers which a yogi would get in his steps towards the ultimate merger of samadhi, in the form of the vibhutis, in the form of the samyamas and all, in the 55 sutras which is totally given there. And the last 34 sutras in the Kaivalya pada is giving us the final stage of Kaivalya as attained by the yogic sadhaka. In the very first chapter of Samadhi pada, as I've already told, Patanjali defines what yoga is. Yogaschitta vritti nirodha, which we have seen earlier. So here, these are the important technical terms: yogaha, chitta, vritti, and nirodha. Here, yoga, we have told already, yoga is that ultimate union of the individualized self with the universal consciousness. It is the yoga, the very word yoga means it is the union here. But here in this context of Patanjali Sutra, we need to understand what yoga is. He says, Yogaha Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So he says it is the cessation or stoppage to the modifications of the mind. Chitta here means mind, in English to understand simply. And this Chitta, mind, is nothing but the collection of thoughts, the collection of all our thinking process is what we have already seen. And the thinking process or the chitta is not just simply one process, but through varied processes it happens. And that's where all these different processes or different modifications of the mind through which we get the different accumulation of thought is what is given as chitta vritti. The mind doesn't stay in one place or one part or one time. It always either flies to the past or flows to the future, doesn't stay in the present. So this wavering nature of the mind, this diversified nature of the mind, this distracted nature of the mind, chanchalata, brings rise to the 5 different modifications of the mind which are called chitta vrittis. Not just he says chitta vrittis, but Patanjali is very clear, definite in pointing out what are the chitta vrittis. He says vrittayaha panchatayaha. They are 5 in their types. And he says all the chitta vritti could be something which causes you a pain, something which need not cause you a pain, or something is that which is a result of a painful reason, or something that which doesn't have any painful reason there. So chitta vritti nirodha, when he says these are of klishtaha aklishtaha. Klishta is that which gives you a pain, and aklishtaha that which doesn't create any afflictions or the pain. And these 5, what are they? The pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, and smriti. Pramana, the right knowledge or right source of knowledge, which is again pratyaksha, that which you obtain directly, anumana, through your inference, and agama, which is based on a reference text which is there. So all this will add to the accumulation of knowledge in the right way. That which you see, you experience, you hear, you see, you experience, therefore you know. It's your own self-experience which is pratyaksha. Anumana, you are inferring that it could be this, right? Even every scientific research also starts with this inference. And then you through your pratyaksha experimentation, anubhava, you prove it to be the right truth. So inference is part of obtaining this knowledge. And third is agama, that somebody who had already taken this inference and have put it into the experimentation and have obtained the result, and they have documented that as a scripture, as a text, as a reference. When we take that, it becomes agama further. The pratyaksha of me becomes the agama for the other person. The pratyaksha for Krishna or Arjuna became the agama, the Gita for us. The pratyaksha of Patanjali, which is the Yoga Sutra, became the agama for all of us as the Yoga Sutra. That is how it is there. So this is the first and foremost source of knowledge, the right knowledge, which is called the pramana. The second chittavritti, which is pramana, which is viparya. The second chittavritti is viparya, which is the wrong source of knowledge, or rather you can call it as the misconception, which is quite common, which happens in our families, in our career, in our education, everywhere. The famous example which is given in the Vedanta is Rajvam Bhujangamaiva Pratibhasitam Vai. There is it's called Rajju Sarpanyaya. Somebody comes in the dark and stamps over something, and then he cries, oh, it's snakes, snakes, snakes. When they put the light, they see it's just a rope, not a snake. Likewise, even we thinking of this body to be the true self, we identify ourselves with this body, but we are not this body. Atmaiva hi prabhavati na jada katachit. You are not this jada, this human body, but you are this Atma Swarupa. Is what the Chaitanya Swarupa is what we need to understand. So, as Patanjali says in the other sutra, Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. This Drashtu, this seer who is there, this individual, the sadhaka, he gets to see by Chittavritti Nirodha, he gets to see his Swarupa as not just his body, as his divine conscious entity, and he is established there, avasthanam, he is established there. So this viparya is this misconception of you identifying yourself with the human body is one of the biggest misconception that we do. And not only that, identifying ourselves with all our problems, and sometimes without knowing the truth, we misunderstand. Here there is a base, there is something which has happened, but we didn't understand it in the properly, in the right spirit, in the right way, and we mistook it to be a different thing. In a family, imagine the husband is coming late from the office, right? There could be any reasons for him to come late. There could have been the meeting which got extended. It could be the traffic jam in the road. It could be because of various reasons, or even he could have met with an important friend and he was talking with him. So it could have been various reasons. But now the wife who is waiting in the home because she didn't get to connect with the husband over the call and she couldn't know why he is late. So she starts, the fact is that he is coming late, this is there, but her understanding is strong that she thinks, oh, maybe he met with an accident, or maybe he met with his girlfriend and he is having an affair with her and that's why he didn't come home at the right time. So she will have her own manipulations of the mind, her own thoughts on the mind, and when he comes, and without knowing the truth, there could be a quarrel, there could be a fight also, which always happens with us, my dear friends. So anything which happens, we should know whether this is a viparya, a misconception that I am having, or is there a pramana, the proof through which I understand it. Even amongst our day-to-day activities, in various ways, that many of the psychic problems or psychological problems are happening because of this viparya. There is something which happened and we understand, we mistake a right person to be a wrong person, which quite happens. Or a wrong person to be understanding as a right person, getting into bad company. That is how most students, youngsters today get affected, because they think that the wrong person to be the right person. So this is viparya. And third is vikalpa, which is imagination. Here there is no base at all, no truth at all, no fact at all, no pramana at all. It is you in your imagination, in your own mind, you think that this could be that. At least in viparya, there was something which was there and you had superimposed another thought on that. You have thought it to be like this, whereas it was like that. Whereas in vikalpa, it is that which is not the truth at all, that which did not happen at all, and you on your own, you are imagining this is how it happened. Right? So it is imagination, again quite common with a lot of people who are having a lot of psychological issues, a lot of mental problems, who have this problem of Vikalpa, that which doesn't happen, but they hallucinate, they imagine, they think on their own because that it has happened, and because of that they suffer a lot. This is Vikalpa. The fourth is Nidra, where there's complete absence of the object, complete absence of the thought, and Nidra is also one of the Chitta Vritti, a modification of the mind where thoughts doesn't happen. When in the initial stage of the sleep, where thoughts do occur, in the physical inactivity, the mental thoughts do come out. That is the state of the dream, the swapna. And the awakeful state, as we know, is a jagrat, and the sleeping state is sushupti. And this sushupti state where the thoughts are not manifest, and you are in a complete kind of deep restful state, is what is called as sushupti or nidra. This is one of the important modification of the mind as well, that mind has to go into this phase of complete restfulness. It is part of the biorhythm of the human existence and human body that we need to undergo this. And this is also something, if properly undertaken, this can become an aklishta chitta vritti, and if not, even the sleep itself can become a klishta chitta vritti, which can put you into a lot of problems. Today people suffer a lot of insomnia problem, which is absence of sleep, not unable to sleep in the right time and unable to get up in the right time. There's something called sleep apnea. A lot of sleep disorders today, a lot of people are facing. And sometimes in the thought that we are meditating, we often go to sleep also, and sleep is one of the important chitta vrittis as Patanjali is classifying here. And the fifth is, it is smriti. Smriti again is the memory, that which we recall from our past experience. The memory is what is called smriti. So smriti is to remember, smriti is to recollect, smriti is to reproduce from the memory. And again, now memory is one of the most important thing in playing in our psychological health. There are a lot of good things to remember, but often what happens to the human mind, it thinks of the bad things which have happened in the past, right? One good thing is enough for us to take and ponder over, but the bad things that we keep on taking, this is how he said to me, this is what my mother-in-law said, this is what my mother, they would have gone long back ago, but still even today we remember those bad experiences, bad things of the past, right? So that is where we need to practice a lot of the sadhana. The next Patanjali gives you how to come out of all the chitta vrittis. So through all this sadhana, we have to come out of the bad memories. Memories are there, they are going to be there, but whether to take off the good memory or the bad memory is something very important. One of my professor used to say always that you have the choice of the smriti and also you have the choice of the vikalpa. So you would say, rather than getting into the chitta vritti because of the smriti of remembering the bad things of the past, imagine something which is going to happen in the future, because Swami Vivekananda says you will become what you think of. Dr. Abdul Kalam also said, dream of positivity, dream of hope, dream of courage, and all those things what the great men said. So instead of thinking it could have been a fact, some bad thing which happened to you in the past, instead of thinking over this bad past, imagine a good future, and you can make it possible by your sankalpa shakti. So even here, the interconnectivity of the chitta vrittis are something wonderful. We can use it. So instead of thinking of the bad memories of the past, think of the future. If not, being in the present. Being in the present is the best thing. But if not, if you want to think something, then think of the future in a vikalpa way. But in the future also to be a bright future, a wonderful future, promising future that we need to think. So these are the 5 chitta vrittis. I repeat again: pramana, the right source of knowledge; viparyaya, the wrong source of knowledge or wrong understanding or misconception rather; vikalpa, the imagination; and nidra, sleep; and smriti, the power of memory or the remembrance. With all this, Patanjali then comes to say that don't you have a way to go out? So he says, if there is a will, there is a way. We have heard a proverb in English, if there is a will, there is a way. This is nothing but a translation of the next Yoga Sutra that Patanjali is giving. Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. This nirodha, chitta vrittis, stoppage of the chitta vrittis, stoppage of all these modifications of mind, the cessation or the control could be possible by this twofold approach. The 2 wings of yoga are called abhyasa and vairagya. So abhyasa is the way, and Vairagya is the will. I said if there is a will, there is a way. So the willpower, the power of the mind, the Sankalpa Shakti is Vairagya, the dispassionate Shakti, that I need to do this. I have to do this. I have to achieve this. That Sankalpa Shakti, the determination, that is what Vairagya is. Once you have that Vairagya, then the path unfolds itself to you. That is what Abhyasa is. It is Abhyasa, the regular practice is very important to come out of all the Chitta Vrittis, to transcend the Chitta Vrittis and to get established in your Swaswarupa, Swarupe Avasthanam. And how do you do this? The Abhyasa, a wonderful definition of what practice is. Abhyasa in general, in English we call it as practice. And for anything that matter, it could be a dance practice, a song practice, a sport practice, your studies and everything, we call it as Abhyasa. In common Indian languages, every Indian language will have this word of Abhyasa. Here Abhyasa, Patanjali is a wonderful definition that he is giving here. He says, Satu Dirga Kala Nairantariya Satkara Sevito Drida Bhumihi. Dirga Kala, how long should I practice, sir? Many people come to yoga class, and the first day they start doing, the second day when they start bending down to the Padahastasana, they would, the instructor is giving the instruction, please bring your palm down to touch your toes. But they slowly take one of their palm and put in their stomach to see whether the stomach has come down. Madhya Pradesh has not come down, it has only grown bigger. Not in 2 days, 3 days, it won't happen. Nowadays people are having a watch to see how much calories did they burn, how much sweat did they do, and all those things, because they want quick instant result. Whatever you get instantly, my dear friends, that may not prove a long-term result. That is what is called prayers. That which gives you instant pleasure, but it may not give you a long-term happiness, long-term result. Certain things which would give you difficulty now, doing yoga, going to a class, undergoing the vigorous training, all those are not good immediately, but on the long-term, lifelong, they will prove a wonderful result. Anything for that matter, education, studies, children don't want to study. They want the lockdown to continue, that they can enjoy being at home and everything. Is it good for them in the long run? No. So everything, there is something that which gives you instant pleasure or instant benefit, but put you into problem on the long term, that which is called the prayers. There is something which in the beginning was difficult to forbear, to undergo, to practice, but on the long term that would give you a better benefit. That's called the Shreyas, as given in the Upanishads. So here Abhyasa is to go towards the path of Shreyas. That forbear, take the task, as Swami Vivekananda says, take up an idea, devote yourself to it, struggle on in patience, and the sun will rise for you. You have to struggle. The struggle is what is Abhyasa. That forbearance is what is Abhyasa. The Titiksha, that Shraddha, Samadhana is what is Abhyasa. Here Abhyasa, he says, so Dirga Kala, long term, Nairantariya. Okay, long term I did, but okay, I did one day, weekly once, and then I was doing yoga for a number of years, for 10 years I did. No. Nirantara, every day. Dirga Kala, yes, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 3 years, you keep doing a long term, and also everyday consistency that you need to do. So Nirantara, so Dirga Kala, Nairantariya, Satkara Sevito Drida Bhumihi, and it should have a firm grounding, a proper understanding with which you do. That's where in this course we are not just teaching you the practices, but the philosophy of the practice, why I should do this practice, how I should do it, how I should continue the sustenance in this practice. That is what is important. So philosophy and practice go hand in hand. That's what is Abhyasa. And to do the Abhyasa in the right way, the Vairagya, where you understand the discriminative power between the good and the bad, the permanent and the impermanent, the temporary and the long-term values, and determine for yourself why I need to do this. I am not doing this for a short-term benefit, but a long-term eternal happiness, the freedom from all my bondages, to be in a blissful state of existence ever, to transcend my health from not just from illness to wellness, but to be in the complete state of my eternal well-being, from arogya to swasthya. I need to make my existence in a better way, my life better. The quality of life should be improved. So these are the understanding, the Vairagya that we need to get, and the power of achieving comes from Vairagya, and Abhyasa so shows the way through Abhyasa Vairagya that you can attain the wonderful benefits of ultimately realizing what Chitta Vritti Nirodha is. And through Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Swarupe Avasthanam, getting established in your form, your eternal blissful form is what Patanjali says here. And may we all determine ourselves, get this dispassionate Shakti of the Vairagya, and practice all the Ashtanga Yoga in the Abhyasa, and ultimately go towards Swarupa.